One. All right, I'm back for Dust US's ongoing coverage of IEM Dallas 2025. I'm here with one of the current GOATs at Counter-Strike 2, flameZ, off of a win over Gamer Legion. So, a win's a win. You locked in playoffs. I think everyone expected that from what's been going on in Vitality's absolute dominance of the Counter-Strike scene. But a pretty good performance, I'd say, from Gamer Legion, especially with a stand-in. Coming out of that match, how do you rate Gamer Legion's performance against Vitality, especially as everyone at this event will be judging teams' performances against Vitality?
I think they played really well. I think the main thing that I noticed is that we are sort of a bit rusty in some sense. So we're getting better with every game. I think the last time I felt like that was when we came to, I don't remember. I think it was ESL Pro League that we slowly with game and game you start bringing back like your DNA and the communication and everything step by step. And I think this is one of those tournaments that feels like that as well. Like we're slowly getting back into things, and I don't think people are jet lagged or anything, but I feel like there is like a sense of a bit lower energy than before. But I think also they played well and they shot really well. I think on Mirage, got two headshots on me that I was very impressive shots. And I think if the enemy team, and right now in CS2, everybody is capable of shooting, and you have a lot of good teams in the world. So I think it's just something that we need to kind of step up our energy game, because I think we're still playing well. But I think what's a good sign in some sense is that yesterday we had a sloppy game. Today it was a bit more like back and forth, but we had really good rounds as well and good communication. So we're getting back into the picture. But taking nothing from Gamer Legion, they did play really well.
You did mention having Russ, which is surprising for a team that is on such a long winning streak and has been so busy this year. But you did take a slight break. Obviously not attending PGL Astana as one of the top teams that didn't head out to Kazakhstan. Was that break good for you guys? Did you enjoy finally having a break after such a strenuous and successful schedule?
I think the main thing with us is that people value the breaks a lot, because staying every tournament until the last day, playing a best of 5. A lot of nerves, a lot of stress, a lot of things that could go wrong in the games, and a lot of emotions. Finishing that, going to sleep at 6 a.m., flight at 11 a.m., you don't have time to even sleep. Your body needs to recover. Your body needs some time to adjust and take it easy a bit, especially when you go from Melbourne to Denmark, you're jet lagged there, you get back jet lagged again here. And I think this is something that was very valuable to not play Astana. I do think that one of the main things for us is that if we don't play at tournaments, I think it's for every team. I think if you don't have like a 2 weeks you didn't play a tournament, or like 3 weeks and you had like practice in the meantime, I think you need to sort of find your foot again in the official. Like you need to find the communication, the initiative, many things that don't come to Prague due to Prague not being as exciting as an official, I would say. And I think that's something we're working on the practice, and we're trying to give it. That's the main thing that carried us with the win streak, that we try to come to every game with a lot of energy, and I think we're still coming with a lot of energy. We just need to, I don't know if it's an English word, but like efficient, like being more efficient on some of the things. But to be honest, overall, I'm very happy that we didn't go to Astana and we had this kind of time off and back to practice and slowly adjusting into it, because after rivals I was quite sick, and I think everybody in the team was not the best in shape, because everybody was tired, and so it was good time to recover, get to practice, get back into officials here in Dallas, and now it's been going good.
With that break after not attending Asana, did you have a chance to go home? I mean, what do you spend more time these days with the team or more time at home? Obviously, with a team of your level, I'm sure it requires a lot of practice and time, preparing together. So, did you have a chance to go home and see the family, see your brother, all that?
To be honest, I live in Cyprus. I don't live in Israel, so I usually don't get to see brother, and sometimes I would. I did go home this time because I had a 1-year anniversary with my girlfriend, so I had to, you obviously have to be the gentleman. So I went back home and saw everybody. Had some time to refresh a bit, and then got back into CS right after, day after. But yeah, usually I think most of the year, I think so far I've seen my teammates more than the people that are close to me outside of the job. But I think with the team, it's like a family. We're always together. We eat together. We play together. There is a lot of emotions together, a lot of experiences. This year we won 5 trophies together. In some sense, they're your brothers. So I think for me, I think you're right as what you said. It could be tough in some sense, and you need some time at home. But I think for me, like you need to have a family that you're going to be able to spend 3 weeks with them outside of your home and outside of your safe space in some sense, and being able to communicate. And sometimes being able to share that you don't want to see your teammates in something like you want a bit of time off, you want to be more in the room instead of the prac room, and it's very acceptable because if you're honest about your emotions, and obviously most of the times you're going to come with a reason, people are not going to judge you and be like, no, you need to play CS, you're not informed. Like people are very open-minded in this sense.
Yeah, I guess it'd be kind of hard for you to justify, winning all these tournaments, winning the Grand Slam, and then, have the gold bars and all that and be like, oh, sorry, I can't come home right now, take you out for your anniversary, I'm busy. And that sort of touches into my next question is, you mentioned earlier having to find your footing every time you take off from playing LAN. And I think for a lot of teams, if a team comes to Dallas after taking time off, maybe like Furia, for example, or pardon me, any team that takes time off, if they lose like their first match or they lose the match that sends them to the quarterfinals instead of semis, people won't really read into it too much. But with where Vitality is right now, having this massive win streak, having just won the Grand Slam, having won every tournament they've attended for a couple in a row, does that add extra pressure on your shoulders and a team's shoulders to say like any mistake we make, any match we lose, even if it's insignificant, will be hyper analyzed by the pundits, by the community, by our fans, by our opponents?
The fans are really important, but we're not going to listen to an opinion that is not valuable in the sense that a fan or analyst, it's their job to sort of see the game and judge, and you don't have an error until the fans say you have an error. It's not going to be you to decide that. So we value the fans' opinions, but if we're going to lose, and we're going to lose because we played bad, we're going to judge ourselves first, and we're going to feel bad about that. And that's the pressure to hold the standard for your teammates, not for the crowd and the fans at home. Obviously, there is an importance to, like, we're entertainers in some sense, so we want to play good Counter-Strike and this kind of stuff. But if we're going to lose a game because the enemy played better than us, we're not going to go home and be sad about it. We're going to be like, we keep working. The main goal is the major, and for us there is going to be pressure, but I think we're handling it very well because we're not really looking at the win streak. And I think the main thing that got us really well is that we closed the Grand Slam in Melbourne, because it would have been very stressful to keep on the run. So if we lost in Melbourne to Falcons in the finals, now we get to Dallas, it's stressful, we need to practice a lot, we need to do that and that and that and that. We finished that, the most stressful tournament of the year in a major. So I think to some extent we sorted ourselves well, because we're not in a situation that we need to stick with the pressure and the nerves. Now we're in a situation that we just need to play, get our energy, play good together as a team. And once we do that, we basically will learn what we need to fix towards the major, and that's the main goal.
Vitality last year were, of course, a great team, one of the best teams in the world, and you've lived in the world of being a great player on a great team, but this is perhaps somewhat different, as I think a lot of pundits are now saying this is a Vitality era. From your perspective, is it different for you as a player, like living on an era team in the sense, like is anything in your mentality change, being essentially potentially being like a Michael Jordan, a Charles Barkley of Counter-Strike right now, living in that sort of super famous, super successful, super pressured environment of, we are the era Vitality team right now?
I think an era is a big word before you win a major. So I will not say we're in an era. I think we're obviously the most dominant team of the year so far, and that's like quite obvious. But we're not in a position, like someone wrote it good on Twitter, like Liquid had 23 win streak, but it wasn't like as dominant as Astralis winning the majors. People still would say 2019 was, I think would say that 2019 was Astralis year. So I think for us, the main thing is to achieve the major. I think there is obviously a sense of like, I'm very happy to be in the position that I'm 21 and I already have Katowice and Cologne under my belt and a Grand Slam. The major is obviously going to be more important than all of them, I would say, in some sense. But it keeps on going, right? You don't want to stop. Like if you're 21 and you got fortunate with those events, it means you can get fortunate with more events in the later years. So the main goal is to just keep going and keep going and keep going. And right now we have a great team, and some teams are like Falcons and these kind of teams that are working really hard and they're getting really well, and they probably they're in the level to beat us already, because every final is very competitive. And what we want to do is just try to do as best as we can, because we have a good opportunity. We have good 4 players. So for me individually, it's just keep on pushing. We have 5 players that are on the same page, really want to win. Everybody's good. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and as much as we can. And if it goes downhill, we can get it backwards because we're like, we have something in the team that is I never felt before in some sense, like a magic towards the and it is outside of the game.
Now, final question. So that magic, that magic of being now 21 and everything's kind of clicking, coming together at once. Last year, when you were 20 at the last Dallas, you lost in that finals to G2 with Stu Tuke, and it was kind of like a very emotional, historic. It was very like we lost the team with a stand-in, so it's like a strange situation now that you're on top of the world. The goal here is, of course, to win, but would it feel good for you to kind of make up for that loss last year?
I don't think we look at it that much with deep emotions. Obviously, we want to take the trophy in Dallas. But last year, I think it was like a great grand final, and the storyline of Stevie 2K with G2 coming in and winning after not winning for like a few years. I think it was, it's weird to say it as the one who lost to them in the final, but it was like a good storyline for the event. Like Dallas became really interesting with that story in some sense. So for me, obviously I want to win as many trophies as I can, but I can't blame it on, I can't look back into it and like, that's why I want to win Dallas this year. Obviously I want to pick up the trophy, but it wouldn't matter what were the circumstances before. And the main thing was that we didn't play as good last year on the final. And the thing is, we have the team to play good in every playoff match this time around. So it's an opportunity to redeem in some sense.
All right, that is flameZ the Showman on his way to playoffs, and we probably honestly will see him in the final. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for your time.